Prime-time local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Lloyd Council is ensuring local hockey in the city stays alive, with plans to now renovate the Russ Robertson Arena. Opening in 1976, the Russ Robertson Arena is mostly known for being the home of the Lakeland Rustlers hockey team, as well as other recreational leagues over the years. The arena is requiring a concrete pad replacement in order to continue operations.
They're moving where the players sit. That's going to change to the other side of the arena in the existing building. And there's being proposed to move 150 seats after the Civic Center closes to the Russ Robertson to give the spectators and those the audience and family members and friends that are attending games a better experience at the arena.
The arena has been a capital budget item for 3 years now, getting deferred every year until now. The project is set to cost the city roughly $1.9 million.
And it's reaching a point that we'd hate to lose an ice surface in the middle of winter and not have a home for some of our hockey teams and sports teams and just people using it for recreational purposes. There was a little bit more money required to do that, especially the moving of the seats. But again, it's good value that's going to serve our community hopefully for another 45 years.
Construction is anticipated to start in May and end by October of this year. The Rotary Club of Lloydminster had a guest at today's meeting to talk to them about home inspections. Jeff Schellenberg of Pillar 2 Post Homes gave a presentation on what home inspectors like himself look for when going through a home for a potential buyer to see what insurance will cover.
I did a presentation on insurance and insurance concerns with homes, where a lot of insurance companies are a lot more careful about homes and asking a lot more questions about homes. And there are certain things that we used to put into homes, certain materials that we used to use in homes that are no longer acceptable.
Typically, it is the buyer who gets an inspection for a home, but Schellenberg recommends sellers also get their homes looked at by an inspector.
If you know what your buyer and what information your buyer is going to get when they get their inspection, you're ready for it. Or you can deal with those bigger issues before they become an issue, and just helps everything go smoother. And knowledge is power. So if you want the power, you need the knowledge.
Schellenberg says the whole purpose of his job is to inform home buyers and sellers. He encourages people to ask as many questions as possible before and after an inspection. It's now time for This Week in Retrospect. Here is our Nick Hott.
This week on Retrospect, we travel back to 1994 for a look into ostrich farming.
It's Roger Delmont's fourth year in the ostrich business. With more than 400 people in Alberta involved in the industry, ostrich farming is growing by leaps and bounds. Delmont says he decided to go into the business because the benefits of raising the big birds were too good to pass up.
We started reading about it and kept looking for something that was wrong with it, basically, and couldn't find anything wrong with it, and it looked good. Lots of people were doing it. Basically in the States is where it started, and they were getting bigger and bigger, so it looked like something that might take off.
The ostriches are just entering breeding season. Hens can lay approximately 1 egg every 2 days. As soon as the eggs hit the ground, they're put into the incubator. It takes 6 weeks before the eggs are hatched, but it's worth the wait.
Day-old chicks this year are probably selling somewhere around $2,100, roughly. They'll range according to the different breeders. 3-month-olds, somewhere around $8,000 a pair. Up to the breeders, good proven breeders are probably worth about $65,000 right now.
Delmont's pleased with the success of his birds so far, and although the market for ostrich meat, hide, and feathers is growing, Delmont says the money is still in selling live chicks to prospective breeders. Leanne Niblock, NewsHour.
Next, we jump forward to 2001 for a look into how computers began integrating themselves into schools.
Soon, students will be replacing textbooks and notepads for laptop computers. Business instructors at Lakeland College in Vermilion, along with 10 marketing students, are testing the use of wireless laptops in and out of the classroom. The test is called Notebook Initiative. School of Business Chairman Mark Butler explains.
The Notebook Initiative is initiative that we've brought into our second-year marketing students. It's whereby our students are given a notebook at the beginning of the year, and we integrate that into the courseware, whereby usually stuff would have been done on paper. Now we're doing it through the internet-based courses, providing more of a paperless society or a paperless environment where the students are gaining a real-world experience on the computers. What we're trying to do is, again, minimize the cost to the student while maximizing the value. What we're looking for with our deals, we're working with different vendors for the laptops, for software and hardware, and hopefully coming into around $400 semester technology fee for the students.
Students currently using the laptops enjoy the 24-hour service and accessibility to their assignments and grades.
Like, I live in Wainwright, so I commute every day, and it's really handy to communicate with the group members when I'm in Wainwright if I'm not coming to school.
Having access to grades and information at any time, like if I'm at home and I wasn't in class one day, I can just check and see on the computer what they did and what's for homework, what I need to do, and I think that's really helpful.
Lakeland College hopes to implement the program to all business students within the next 3 years. In Vermilion, Nicole Strachlet, NewsHour.
And that's all for this week of Retrospect.
Retrospect is brought to you by Webb's Machinery. Find New Holland products at Webb's Machinery, your dealer in Vermilion, Vegreville, Lamont, Wainwright, St. Paul, and Consulate.
A Victoria woman found out how her late mom was being honored in a fabulous way. CTV's Adam Sawatsky has more.
While Adele Hatch can walk to the water now, she recalls being driven there as a child, thanks to her mom Doreen being the only woman on the street with a license.
Every other woman and the kids were stuck at home unless the husbands took them.
So Doreen would regularly squeeze Adele and her sisters, plus a few of her friends, into the back of her Beetle and embark on an adventure at the beach.
I will call her a force of nature, a fabulous force of nature.
During one of those beach days, Doreen discovered a remarkable piece of driftwood, strapped it on the Beetle, and drove it to her garden, where it sat on display for more than 30 years.
It was wonderful.
After Doreen died, Adele showcased the log in her yard for 2 decades, until she happened upon the work of driftwood artist Tanya Bob and offered it to her.
And I said, you'll do much more with it than I will ever do.
So Tanya gratefully accepted it, and like her previous work, expected to use it as a component in the construction of some sort of creature.
I would sort of look at the thing and I'm like, no, it's not a bear. And I'd be like, okay, come back 2 months later. I don't see a Sasquatch here.
It wasn't until a year later that Tanya finally saw it as kelp waving in the water, was inspired to start bending chicken wire into a shape she could perch on top of the stump, and eventually made a massive mermaid that she named the Fabulous Doreen.
And I can't believe it. I couldn't believe it.
Adele couldn't believe 2 things. First, she'd never told Tanya about Doreen's passion.
My mother loved mermaids, absolutely loved them.
And second, Adele had never shown Tanya any photos of her mom, let alone this picture of Doreen perched on a wall with her arms stretched out in a strikingly similar pose.
I couldn't believe that was basically my mom in mermaid form.
And while it could be coincidence, and certainly serendipity, maybe, they say, it's something more magical.
I think she kind of inhabited that wood a little bit and was a little bit whispering in my ear.
But no matter the explanation, Tanya's donating proceeds of its sale to a charity in Doreen's name, and Adele is hoping whoever takes the mermaid home is inspired to be fabulous in the same way Doreen was.
Find something you enjoy and bring that joy to others as well.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Victoria.
Lloydminster is experiencing just great weather to start March off.
Yes, it has been nice over the weekend. It was gorgeous. Today was a little bit gloomier, so it wasn't as nice, but the sun kind of came out in periods.
Still very nice.
Yeah,
compared
still very
to
nice.
Mid-February.
And those temperatures are staying in the single digits, some above 0, maybe a little bit below 0, but it's still looking nice. Tonight, you may experience some fog patches around midnight. That's going to develop, but then it's going to dissipate in the morning. So if you are driving in early morning and you see some fog, just be a little bit cautious. -1 currently, feels closer to -7 with that wind chill, so not too bad in terms of temperatures. Mix of sun and cloud, like I said, we had experienced some of both throughout the day. Wind speeds, however, 22-kilometer-per-hour wind, so it is quite windy. And then current temperatures in Alberta, 0 in a lot of the areas, 0 in Cold Lake, Bonnyville, St. Paul, Vermilion, and Provost, -1 in Wainwright and Vegreville, +1 out in Lac La Biche, and +2 out in Edmonton. And in Saskatchewan, -3 up in Isle Cross, +2 in Pierceland, 0 in Maidstone, +1 in Macklin, and -1 in Green Lake, Meadow Lake, St. Walburg, and in North Battleford. Overnight tonight, North Battleford temperatures will drop down to -8 as the low. Lower clouds in the sky, 7-kilometer-per-hour wind, so it shouldn't be too bad of an evening out tonight. Around 24% chance of precipitation, but it should still be a nice day out. And then tomorrow, a daytime high of 0 degrees out North Battleford. Periods of clouds and sunshine, so it's going to be a bit of a mix of both. Wind speeds, not too much of a factor, only 9 kilometers per hour. Overnight tonight in Cold Lake, -7 will be the low. Clear skies is predicted, 9-kilometer-per-hour wind, so it is going to be quite a nice evening out tonight. Into tomorrow, a daytime high of +4, 13-kilometer-per-hour winds, and there will be some sun, but those clouds will start to increase as the day goes on. Overnight tonight in Lloydminster, -8, low clouds, 9-kilometer-per-hour wind, so that wind speed will slow down as we head into the evening. Into tomorrow, 6 a.m., -7, 9-kilometer-per-hour wind, so it won't be super windy tomorrow. By noontime, it will just pick up to 11 kilometers per hour. -1, mostly cloudy, but there should still, hopefully there'll still be a little bit of sun throughout the day. 6 p.m. it should be cloudy, -2, 13-kilometer-per-hour winds that will remain into midnight. It'll be intermittent clouds with -5. For the next 3 days, we will get up to a high of +1 for tomorrow and a low of -8. And like I said, it will be mostly cloudy. However, then we get into Wednesday and it's going to be a pretty sunny day out, which is something to look forward to. A high of +3, low of -8. And then on Thursday, it'll be mostly sunny, but there will be some clouds in the sky. High of +3 as well, low of -5. So over the next 3 days, it is going to be quite nice out, and that sun is going to be very welcomed on Wednesday with that nice +3. As a first look at your evening weather forecast, we'll have more news coming up after the break.
The Lakeland Wrestlers women's hockey team began their first round of the ACAC playoffs when they took on the SAIT Trojans this past weekend. Our Thomas Wildman has a wrap on the series.
It was an exciting weekend at the Russ Robertson Arena. Game 1, the Rustlers took care of business, defeating the SAIT Trojans 3-0. Game 2 was win or go home for the Trojans, so they brought their A game with another outstanding performance from goaltender Kaylin Schellenberg, as neither team would score in the first. In the second, the Trojans would start the scoring with a goal from Ayla Wick, but the Rustlers would answer back with goals from Alyssa Shaw and Darby Robertson, and would take a 2-1 lead heading into the third. Wick would tie it up for the Trojans early in the third, but once again, the Rustlers would answer back. Ava Cole would give the Rustlers the lead once again, and with some insurance goals from Mackenzie Stafford and Addison Urich, the Rustlers would win 5-2 and book their spot into the finals for the second year in a row.
Honestly, I just think as a whole team, we're a very gritty team. Getting down a goal, we just never stop, and I think that's really important moving on.
All of the Rustlers players love playing the Russ Robertson, especially with their home crowd cheering them on.
The crowd is amazing here. We always have a packed barn. That's kind of one of the advantages of having a smaller rink. We do feel like we have a lot of people here, and they're so supportive as a community. They're cheering for us all the time, even if we're down. They're always being motivation. So, yeah, we have to say our thanks to the community, too, because they're there for us whenever.
The Rustlers will be taking on the Red Deer Polytechnic Queens in the finals and will hope to capture their first gold medal in program history.
I think we just have to play our own game and stay calm. We can't get ourselves too worked up, and just that hard forecheck, and I think we can force them hard enough and come out with the win.
The Rustlers will host the first 3 games of the finals against the Queens at the Russ Robertson this weekend, and if necessary, games 4 and 5 will be in Red Deer the weekend after. Thomas Wildman, Primetime, Local News.
Kraft Hockeyville's annual competition is back, where small towns sign up their arenas for a chance to win some big prizes, including $250,000 in arena upgrades. Our Jackson Fontaine has more with one of the communities that signed up.
I'm joined here today with Sean Kraft, the official coordinator of Maidstone's Minor Hockey Association, and he is going to be talking about Maidstone signing up for Kraft Hockeyville. But before we get into any details, Sean, could you just tell me what Kraft Hockeyville is?
Yeah, absolutely. So Kraft Heinz sponsors a competition for hockey arenas throughout all of Canada to raise support and protect the future of minor hockey. And their aim is to find the best hockey rink in Canada for this year. So we signed ourselves up. There's a significant grand prize and prizes for the second, third, and fourth places arenas. Kraft Heinz's philosophy is that communities build hockey and hockey builds communities. And we feel that that is definitely true in Maidstone, so we signed ourselves up.
Why did you guys decide to put your arena in the running for this year's Kraft Hockeyville?
Well, the major reason obviously is for the funding. A small town rink is very expensive to operate. We have 6 employees to operate our arena, and everything else is done with volunteers, just like every small town rink. Funds are hard to come by. We try to keep fees low for the kids. We want to make sure that hockey can continue in Maidstone for many, many years to come. And unfortunately, our arena is getting quite on in years. It was built in 67 or 68. Our ice plants need some major refurbishing. Everybody knows that if you lose an ice plant, that's kind of important for a small town rink. You don't have ice without the ice plant. So that's the major one. And we have some other fairly significant repairs that need to be done. We have furnaces going out and we have leaks in the roof. And we've just done a major accessibility upgrade to our kitchen and bathrooms to increase the amount of accessibility for the arena. And so we have a sizable loan out for that we'd like to get paid off. And the second reason that we wanted to enter this competition is just to raise awareness and increase the amount of support from the community. We want to show our community how much we respect their involvement and their commitments to our arena. And it's nice to get out and get interviews like this and social media follows and stuff.
And unfortunately, nominations did close yesterday, so we are one day late. But Sean, how else can people help you guys out?
Well, now the next phase, the first phase was nominations and sharing stories and pictures. And as you said, that ended yesterday. So we've got our profile set up on Kraft Hockeyville. The website is hockeyville.kraftheinz.com. You can go on there and you can search up our arena and you can read our stories that we were lucky enough to have our members in our community submit. Kraft Heinz will now have a 2-week period of judging where they have members of Kraft and the NHL and NHL Players Association judge the different arenas. There are, I want to say, 375 contestants in the competition. So for the next 2 weeks, it would be great if everybody would follow our progress on hockeyville.kraftheinz.com, as well as Maidstone Minor Hockey's Facebook page. And we can hopefully get to the next phase in the middle of March, where they'll announce the top 4 finalists for the competition.
Yeah, so they'll be announcing the top 4 communities on March 15th. I do want to ask, though, how do you like your chances of getting to the top 4 and potentially winning this year's Kraft Hockeyville?
Well, my heart is very close to home on this one. I love my chances. I've been involved with the arena in Maidstone for a number of years now in various different roles. And I can see how important this win would be for Maidstone. It is it's necessary for us to continue operating as we've been and to keep fees and costs down. I do know that there's a lot of competition out there and there's a lot of people to go through. And I know that there's a lot of aging arenas like ours out there. So our needs are very common throughout Canada. But I'm hopeful.
And final question, Sean, is there anything else you'd like to add that I might have missed?
The last thing I'd like to add is I would like to send out some thank yous. I'd like to thank all of our volunteers. A small town rink does not run without volunteers, and ours are the best in the business. We have a lot of people that donate a lot of their time and a lot of their passion to the arena, and I'd like to thank them. I'd like to thank our employees. As I said earlier, there's only 6 employees running this arena, and we run a minor hockey program, and we run a skating program. We have curling rink. We have a senior program. We also run the arena in the off season for baseball diamond if it's too wet outside. We run volleyball tournaments. We have grad. We have funerals. We have weddings. The arena is the lifeblood of this community. So I want to thank our employees and the volunteers. And lastly, I'd like to thank our sponsors, our corporate sponsors, and our in our community are vital to keeping this operation running. Without them, we wouldn't be here at all. So thanks to everybody involved.
Awesome. Well, Sean, good luck to you and your community. I know it'd be a great sight to see a small Saskatchewan town win, and thank you for doing this today.
It sure would. Thank you very much, Jackson.
It's now time to take a look at your adorable animals in our pet picks of the day.
Send photos of your pet and their name to have them featured on Pet of the Day.
The 2025 edition of Today's Woman is coming out soon in Lloydminster, and nominations are open for women that go above and beyond in our community. Randy Cormish got the chance to speak with one of the organizers to learn more.
Today I'm joined by Taylor Weaver, and we're going to be talking about the Today's Woman 2025. So thank you so much for joining me today, Taylor. Would you be able to just start off by telling me a bit about the Today's Woman 2025 and what it's all about?
Yeah, Today's Women 2025, we've been doing it for quite a while at the Source here. It was an initiative started by our former sales manager, Deanna Wandler. So for me, it's all about keeping that tradition going and keeping going what she started because she's off doing her own marketing thing in town here. But yeah, Today's Women in a nutshell, it's just all about featuring and telling the stories of local women, whether it be women in business, community activists, people involved in the community. Don't have to be business owners or anything like that. We've featured, people from all walks of life, whether it be, someone who's gone through traumatic medical things like that and, had the support of family and friends to be there. It's really interesting to see how many amazing stories are out there. And I think for me, every time we do this, it's just incredible how many amazing women are in this community and surrounding area that maybe don't have that spotlight on them. So, for me, it's a lot of fun because I always learn a lot of new names and a lot of really cool stories when we put this together. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And then what qualities or characteristics make a woman a good candidate for this?
That's a really good question because anything really, whether it be the woman who followed her dreams and started her own business or decided that being a stay-at-home mom was a route she wanted to take. We've had people, like I said, from all walks of life featured in this thing, so there's really no hard line as to what someone had accomplished in the past. Send those nominations in. I've actually got quite a few sent to the email this year so far, and we've got 3 or 4 left over from last year. So nominations will be open until April 1st. And people are encouraged to email me directly, taylor@meridiansource.ca, and just kind of give a little synopsis as to why you think that person should be nominated. And that's also something I really love reading is the nomination process, because sometimes I see a new name come across my email who I don't know who this person is, but and then you read the story and you sit down and chat with them and really find out what they're all about. And yeah, what they've done for the community and for others or just even for themselves. But yeah, it's an exciting time.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And then what kind of impact do you hope that this has on the community?
I think maybe the same impact it has on me every year that I do this, Randy. It just yeah, learning new things about people in the community that you might not have really recognized. You know, there's a lot of people that have been featured in today's women who don't have the the spotlight on them all the time, whether it be through social media posts or the local media or just friends and family word of mouth. There's a lot of really cool untold stories, I think, in the community, and that's what we're hoping to shed some more light on is yeah, those untold gems.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And then why do you think this is so important for like such a small community?
Um, Once again, I'll answer that with just from experience. I mean, yeah, every year we do this, there's at least so we do 10, we feature 10 different ladies, or sometimes there's a pair, so it might be 9 different singles with a pair. But um, I find a lot of the time that we do these interviews with these women, they're so involved in the community in a whole variety of different organizations, and they don't do it for any kind of recognition. They do it for themselves, to benefit others, to benefit the community. So I think for us, I hope the biggest takeaway for the community that reads it, community members that read it, is the fact that there's a lot of people in town who do a lot behind the scenes and don't want that recognition, you know?
Yeah, 100%. And then is there just anything else you want to add just for people that are going to nominate or anything like that?
Um, have fun with it. I mean, that's yeah. We do the annual or the monthly 20 questions feature. We just did Kurt Price from the Live with Kurt Price show, and I told him, as I tell everyone for 20 questions, have fun with it, be honest, be open, and the results are always better that way. And then yeah, with the nomination process, just yeah, have fun with the nominations. Yeah, if you're writing something about one of your good friends, just be honest. Tell us why you think they deserve to be recognized. Even if they don't want to be recognized, sometimes they just need a little kick to get that, you know?
Awesome. Yeah, well, that's all the questions I have for you today, Taylor. Thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to hearing how the nominations turn out.
Coming up after the break, our Abby St. John will have another look at our evening weather forecast.
Taking a final look at our evening weather forecast, it's -2 currently here in Lloydminster. We had quite a nice day, a little bit gloomy, but then that sun kind of made some appearances throughout the day, which is nice, and that's going to continue on into this week. Current temperature is 0 out in Vermilion, Marwayne, St. Paul, and Cold Lake, +1 in Lac La Biche and Bonnyville, -1 in Vegreville, Wainwright, and Provost, and 2 out in Edmonton. And in Saskatchewan, -3 in Isle La Crosse, 2 in Pierceland, -1 in Green Lake, Meadow Lake, St. Walburg, and in North Battleford. Overnight tonight in North Battleford, it will drop down to -8 as the low clouds in the sky, wind not too bad, only 7 kilometers per hour. Cold Lake overnight tonight, -7, clear skies as well, 9 km/h wind, so it is going to be quite a lovely evening out. And then overnight temperatures across the region, -7 in Meadow Lake, Provost, and Isle La Crosse. -6 in Bonnyville and -9 out in Paradise Hill. Not too bad of partially cloudy to clear skies in most of the areas, a little bit more cloudier in Provost and Isle La Crosse. More overnight temperatures, -7 out in Murnum and Pierceland, -10 in Unity, -8 in Wainwright, and -6 out in Calgary. And in Unity, there is about a 45% chance of some flat flurries this evening, so be cautious about that. Otherwise, it should be a nice evening. -8 will be our low here in Lloydminster tonight. Low clouds in the sky, and that wind speed will slow down, thankfully, to only 9 km/h. It won't be as windy of a day out tomorrow. And speaking of tomorrow, it will be a high of +1, low of -8 with mostly cloudy skies. Hopefully we get some sun throughout the day, but if not, that's fine, because on Wednesday it will be very sunny with a high of 3, low of -8, high of 3 on Thursday, low of -5, and then a high of 5 both on Friday and Saturday and low of -3, and then on Sunday a 55% chance of some morning snow, high of 3. And then we also might get some snow on Monday as well. So not too bad for this week, especially besides the snow coming later or early next week.
Yeah, we can't avoid it forever, but overall, just great temperatures to be having at this time of year. That is all the time we have today for Primetime Local News. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great night.